Okay, hello again. I'm going to share some more stuff that I'm learning on my journey. So I have this foot pedal that changes the iPad notes. It's called it's an air pedal, and this is something I use every time I play the piano. Sometimes the Bluetooth doesn't connect very well, but once it's all working great, that's the interesting thing about technology. When it works, it's great. When it doesn't work, it sucks. So, you may remember if you saw my very first video when I was learning this song here. It was to Say Something, and I was just starting out. It just goes on from there. So I finally got that one down to where it's nearly memorized, and I can play it perfectly now. I started on August 2nd of this year, and today is the 28th of October. So August, September, a couple months in, and I've learned some new songs. I think I'm going to play a couple for you here. So this is the one I'm working on now. And I'll stop and talk about it while I go. This is in the key of G. It's a very simple song, and yet because of the rhythm in the left hand and the right hand being offset, it took a little bit to figure it out. So it starts out like this. So I'll stop right here. That intro, it took a few hours to figure that out. If you're playing the piano and you're not an expert, which most people aren't, you'll get into places where you feel like, this is a pain. For example, there's this piece there's a section here where this goes. Right here is where I always got stuck. Now this, see, I'm pausing because my brain and my muscle memory and my brain aren't working fast enough to nail those notes. And the other thing is I'm talking about this at the same time, which is a big thing for me because I didn't used to be able to hardly think and play the piano at the same time. So that chord, and hitting that, and then the next one, so that progression, that boom, 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 that has taken me a lot of time, a lot of time, okay? So if you're playing the piano, don't get frustrated with yourself. Just realize that those polished, absolutely incredible sounding piano players, they've been playing for years. Constantly. Years and years of playing. So there is hope for us mere mortals. So. See, I flipped my page before I was ready for it. it goes on. Now, I wanted to say this too. If you're using an iPad and you don't have your sheet music spread out in front of you so that you can see the whole score, and this is 10 pages long, so that's very difficult to do. And if you don't want to flip pages with your hands, you just want to use this system, it's good if you memorize, let's say, for example, this little section. Yeah, you can't really see it, but this is I'm 45 for a moment, where it does this. So that I pretty much know. So I can turn my page while I'm still back here in the 45 part. So when I'm here, I'm already on the next page, so I see what's coming up. What this is mini memorization. You're taking 5 or 6 notes before you turn the page, and you know a few notes after. You don't even have to know enough after. But if you have enough notes in your head, I can turn the page while my finger is going here. So I'll be turning the page and ready for the next thing coming up, so I can go straight away to it. And let me say something about tone on the piano. I can hit the keys like I'm using a club. I can use my hand as a club and just bang on the keys if I want. Or I can be very delicate with the keys. The nice thing about any piano, whether it's acoustic or a piano like this Roland, the keyboard uses, it's super sensitive. So if I just lightly touch the key, or if I hit the key harder, you can hear the difference. So when you're playing, depending on what the piece needs, this is where you add that tonal quality that sets it aside from just a MIDI score where every note receives exactly the same emphasis, or maybe some are a little louder. But this way you can create that artistry when you play. That it takes time. My brain disconnects while I'm trying to play at the same time, talk and play. So there I crashed pretty big. This chord needs to turn into this chord and into this chord. And I don't know what it is about this, but that is just a beautiful chord to me. And that's why I play the piano, because I can play for hours nonstop and just, it's awesome. So if you love it, you'll know it. If you don't, you will if you keep at it, because the hardest thing is getting over this silly learning curve. You can start out with some really nice chopsticks. However that thing works, I can't remember how to even play chopsticks. I should get my wife, she can do it good. There we go, I was in the wrong key. Anyway, keep playing. That's all I can say. Just keep on playing. When the muscle memory kicks in, it's amazing, because your fingers just go to the keys without even thinking about it, and that's where you want to be. still a hard part right there for me. I got to work on that a lot more. And here's the other thing that happens for me, and this might be true for a lot of people, is as you're playing into a section, and you can see I've got this marked out in orange on the iPad. When you're moving into a section that you don't have the muscle memory perfectly in, I might be able to play this just fine. Close to it anyway. Itself, like that's a mini piece of music. That's another thing too when you're practicing. Look at a piece as just a couple bars. You do practice 2 bars at a time. Say, this is my entire song. Thank you very much. My recital's over. So that's my whole song. And once you get it right, now you're going to come into that from the previous segment, which I came back a page. So time to buy and time to choose. And what happens in my head is, as I'm coming into a part, sometimes I'm not set up for it. It's almost like the brain isn't moving fast enough, or the fingers in the brain aren't working together well enough to make the whole thing flow. And without flow, you just don't have anything. You got to have flow. So that's what I call it. I call it flow. So that was better. So it's 15. Now I struggled for a long time to get this chord to drop into this one. For some reason, going here from this, and it's just and then from that G to fall into this, it's just a G octave with a D and an E thrown in. And the other thing too, when you're playing, if you don't like the way it sounds, the way it's written, modify it. Make a difference. This chord here is different from this one. Hear the difference? This is the way it's written. This is the way I play it. So sometimes, whatever sounds good, just keep it sounding good. Now that doesn't sound good. That's totally wrong. So it's here. Now, I like the way it's written. That actually sounds good. Okay, so that's 100 years. I'll play the whole thing flawlessly one of these days and post it. But that's the learning curve. The other thing too is you can slow it way down. Some people say practice the right hand alone, which I do that. When I'm just learning this how it goes, I'll just do the right hand. And in this song, it's easy because the left hand is pretty simple. Let me just... But with my pea brain, just putting those two together took a lot of time to figure it out. Now the muscle memory's there, and it just flows. Which is why Stevie Wonder can play without even looking at the keyboard. He's blind. Many blind people play the piano absolutely incredibly. And how do you think they do it? Well, they don't see notes, that's for sure. They don't even see the keys. They feel them. And they hear them. So they know that the sound that they're making is related to where their fingers are on those notes. Anyway, that's it for now. I think that's a long enough video. If you waited all the way through this, that's really cool. And thanks for watching. I'll be doing more here as time permits. Thanks.